Tammy later revealed that much of her anger wasn't just spontaneous outbursts, it was carefully engineered by the show's production team. She described how the crew would purposely delay meals, keep her waiting for long periods before appointments, or intentionally create uncomfortable situations, knowing exactly how it would affect her emotionally. The insider account suggests that producers deliberately triggered Tammy's frustration to capture explosive on-camera moments, because those moments translated directly into viral clips, high ratings, and endless social media chatter. Tammy's outbursts were not just random behavior, they were the result of an environment designed to push her to her breaking point. They knew exactly what they were doing, an insider said, and they needed her to snap because that's what made the show addictive. Her meltdowns became key plot lines, highlighted in promos, replayed in previews, and endlessly circulated on TikTok and YouTube as the show's most dramatic moments. This wasn't reality. It was a carefully constructed drama where Tammy's pain became entertainment. For Amy, the pain was different, but just as deep. She was devastated to see herself portrayed as an overwhelmed, unstable woman, when in reality, she was trying to hold everything together under immense pressure. The show deliberately exaggerated moments that made her look like she couldn't handle her responsibilities as a mother. Producers would film scenes in messy environments, highlight moments of exhaustion, or push her into situations where she was forced to deal with her children and family issues on camera. All of this was amplified in editing, painting her as someone struggling to manage basic tasks. She reportedly told friends that she often cried after filming Wrapped, terrified that one day her children would grow up and see the distorted version of their mother that millions of viewers were consuming. Amy and Tammy both felt betrayed, not only by the way their lives were edited, but also by the fact that they had so little control over how they were represented. By the end of season 7, the $50,000 payment dispute became the last straw. Both sisters were tired of feeling exploited. They had endured years of emotional manipulation, humiliation, and financial disputes. But when TLC allegedly told them that their contracts legally forbade them from walking away, it transformed from frustration into a fight for their dignity. For Amy, motherhood was the center of her world. Since giving birth to her sons, Gage and Glenn, she had tried to balance her personal life with the demanding, invasive schedule of reality TV production. But TLC didn't see her children as people. They saw them as content. According to people close to the production, producers pushed to film during private moments like diaper changes, midnight feedings, or emotional arguments between Amy and her then-husband, Michael. Amy reportedly begged for more privacy, pleading with producers to give her space to protect her kids. But TLC pushed back, saying the struggles of a single mother were exactly what viewers wanted. Her exhaustion, her messy house, her fights with Michael, these were gold for ratings. Amy felt cornered, realizing that she had lost control not only of her public image, but also of her private life. When the $50,000 payment was withheld, she saw it not just as a financial betrayal, but as proof that TLC didn't value her sacrifices. If they won't even pay us for what we've already done, why should I give them my family's future? She reportedly said to friends. Tammy, meanwhile, was fighting for something different, her dignity. She had been portrayed as the villain of the show for years. Viewers criticized her temper, mocked her stubbornness, and ridiculed her for not losing weight fast enough. But behind the scenes, Tammy claimed that producers actually sabotaged her progress to keep her locked into that narrative. According to multiple insiders, producers would encourage unhealthy behaviors, sometimes providing junk food or discouraging workouts, because Tammy's failure made better television. They didn't want a redemption arc. They wanted chaos, struggle, and anger. One insider revealed they wanted her to fail. That was the plot. If she got healthy too fast, they'd lose their storyline. Tammy had expected season 8 to finally be different. She had undergone bariatric surgery, experienced a dramatic weight loss transformation, and was ready to show the world a new version of herself. But instead of celebrating her progress, she claimed TLC was already promoting new narratives that painted her as unstable and dependent. That betrayal, combined with the financial dispute, reportedly pushed her to refuse filming altogether. The situation with TLC isn't unique. Over the years, multiple former stars from other shows like Sister Wives, 90 Day Fiancé, and John and Kate Plus 8 have accused the network of exploitative contracts, low pay, and manipulative production tactics. Many of these stars signed contracts at a time when they had little bargaining power, drawn in by the promise of fame and financial stability. But once they were locked in, it became extremely difficult to leave. TLC is known in the industry for ironclad agreements, NDAs, and financial penalties for any star who tries to walk away. This pattern of control isn't an accident. It's a deliberate structure that ensures the network always holds the power. For Amy and Tammy, the $50,000 payment dispute and forced filming obligations weren't isolated incidents. They were symptoms of a larger system that treated them like disposable commodities rather than human beings with lives and families. Fans quickly picked up on this. Social media platforms became battlegrounds. TikTok users began posting old clips of Amy and Tammy crying on camera, pointing out how the network had profited from their pain. YouTube commentators began describing the lawsuit as the beginning of the end for the show. Hashtags like Nonder Pay the Slatons and Justice for Amy and Tammy began trending as viewers rallied behind the sisters. Some fans began threatening to boycott TLC entirely, stating they would cancel their subscriptions to Discovery Plus if the network didn't pay the sisters what they were owed. Others encouraged Amy and Tammy to start their own platform, either on YouTube, where they could control their own content, or to sign a new deal with a streaming giant like Netflix or Hulu. Many fans argued that without TLC controlling their narrative, the sisters could thrive and share their story in a more authentic, dignified way. Of course, not everyone sided with them. Some critics accused the sisters of being ungrateful, pointing out that TLC paid for surgeries, medical bills, and other costs that helped save Tammy's life. Others argued that without TLC, the sisters wouldn't have become famous in the first place. "They're biting the hand that feeds them," one commenter wrote online. But the loudest voices seem to be those who support the sisters. They see two women who gave years of their lives to a show that made millions off their suffering, only to be left fighting for fair pay and fair treatment. This growing wave of support could be devastating for TLC's image. Public opinion is a powerful force, and if it continues to shift in Amy and Tammy's favor, the network may find itself facing not just a lawsuit, but a PR disaster. If Amy and Tammy prevail in court, the consequences for TLC could be enormous. The lawsuit could expose previously hidden details about how much reality stars actually earn, how contracts are written to favor the network, and how producers manipulate storylines to maximize drama. This isn't just a financial battle, it's a potential shift in power. For years, networks like TLC have held all the control, deciding how their stars look, sound, and live in the public eye. But now, the stars themselves have more options. With social media, streaming platforms, and loyal fan bases, they no longer need traditional networks to stay relevant. If the sisters win or even reach a favorable settlement, other reality stars may follow their lead, filing their own lawsuits and demanding better treatment. TLC is reportedly refusing to back down easily. The network is said to be digging in its heels, determined to make an example out of Amy and Tammy. But this is a risky move. The more the case drags on, the more the network's internal practices are likely to come under scrutiny. Court proceedings could reveal uncomfortable truths about how TLC treats its cast members, potentially opening the floodgates to more lawsuits from other stars. If TLC loses this case, it could set a legal precedent that forces the network to rewrite its contracts, pay its stars more fairly, and allow them more creative control over their narratives. The future of the show itself is uncertain. Without Amy and Tammy, 1000 Delby Sisters would lose its heart. TLC might try to pivot the show to focus on other family members like Chris or Amanda, but fans would likely reject that version. The Slaton sisters are the franchise. They are the reason viewers tune in. If the lawsuit escalates and the sisters walk away, the show could collapse entirely. On the other hand, if the sisters win or settle, they may return under a new deal, one that gives them more power over their story and significantly higher pay. There's even speculation among entertainment insiders that a streaming platform like Netflix might offer the sisters a fresh start with a new show that gives them full control over their image and narrative. This lawsuit isn't just about money. It's about justice, dignity, and control over their own lives. Amy wants to protect her children's future, ensuring that they won't have to grow up watching a distorted version of their family. Tammy wants to reclaim her reputation after years of being portrayed as the villain. Together, they are challenging on... Beyond the individual controversy surrounding Chris Combs, the ripple effects of his lawsuit and abrupt departure from 1000 Love Sisters have sent shockwaves through the entire Slaton family, placing the show's future into uncertain territory. as the absence of a figure so integral to both the family dynamic and the series. Narrative threatens not just the on-screen balance, but also the cohesion of a family that has grown increasingly dependent on his stabilizing presence, with Amy Slaton feeling the most immediate personal impact. As Chris had long been one of her most steadfast allies, a confidant and partner who provided support when the responsibilities of parenting, personal health, and weight loss became overwhelming. Someone who routinely helped her ground herself when emotions ran high, and with his removal from the show, Amy faces the daunting challenge of navigating her ongoing transformation and her daily struggles without the presence of the one sibling who consistently offered guidance, perspective, and the kind of emotional support that extended beyond mere encouragement. While Tammy Slaton, in contrast, confronts an equally precarious scenario in which the absence of Chris, who frequently called her out when she neglected her health and provided the tough love she otherwise might not have received, leaves her more vulnerable to slipping back into old patterns, as some fans fear that without the constructive confrontation and unwavering accountability Chris provided, Tammy may regress in ways that could threaten both her personal well-being and the continuity of her storylines. And although TLC may have perceived Tammy's unpredictable behavior as a ratings booster, many devoted viewers argue that the network is underestimating the stabilizing influence Chris exerted, which not only moderated Tammy's behavior, but also contributed to the relatability and emotional resonance of the show. While the extended family, including siblings Misty and Amanda, also feel the impact of Chris's departure, as his role as mediator frequently prevented conflicts from escalating into full-blown disputes, and without his careful navigation, tensions could intensify, producing moments of drama that might captivate the audience while simultaneously alienating viewers who have grown weary of relentless conflict. And beyond the immediate emotional and interpersonal consequences for the Slaton family, Chris's lawsuit has illuminated the broader,